When it comes to equity compensation, do you know what goes where on Form W-2? Let's take a quick tour. First up on our tour will be boxes 1 and 2. These boxes are for federal income tax, wages, and withholding. When employees recognize compensation income in connection with their equity plan transactions, that income is treated as wages for federal income tax purposes. That means that it is aggregated with the employee's other wages for the year and reported in box 1. This will apply to the income employees recognize for non-qualified stock option exercises, for vesting and payout events of RSU awards, and in most cases, the dividends paid on equity awards. It also applies to the compensation income employees recognize upon disposition of shares acquired under ISOs and qualified ESPPs. In many cases, the company is also required to withhold federal income tax on those wages. That withholding is aggregated with the employee's other withholding for the year and reported in box 2. Next up on our tour will be boxes 3 through 6. These are the FICA boxes. Boxes 3 and 4 are for Social Security wages and withholding, and boxes 5 and 6 are for Medicare wages and withholding. In most cases, when employees recognize compensation income for their equity plan transactions, that income is also treated as wages for FICA purposes. This will apply to non-qualified stock option exercises, RSU vesting and payout events, and in many cases, the dividends paid on awards. It also will apply if you grant RSUs that provide for accelerated or continued vesting upon retirement to the FICA wages employees recognize when they become eligible to retire, or if they're already eligible to retire when they are granted an RSU award. Those FICA wages are reported in box 3 if they're subject to Social Security, and box 5 if they're subject to Medicare. Any associated Social Security or Medicare tax that you withhold on those wages are reported in boxes 4 and 6. So what's not here? What doesn't get reported in these boxes? Well, turns out ISOs and dispositions of ISOs and shares acquired under qualified ESPPs are not subject to FICA. They are specifically exempted from FICA, so any income from those transactions is not reported in the FICA boxes. We have 4 more stops on our tour. These include a whole series of boxes that sometimes apply to equity compensation. Starting with box 11. This box is for non-qualified deferred compensation. There are 2 times when you would report income in this box for equity awards. The first would be if you grant RSUs that are subject to deferred payout. Those payout events are reported in box 11. The second would be if you grant RSUs that provide for accelerated or continued vesting upon retirement. When those RSUs are paid out on or after retirement, those payout events are also reported in box 11. I will say, however, that the rules around what is reported in box 11 are complicated. And in some cases, they depend on the other types of non-qualified deferred compensation the employee might be receiving during the year. And sometimes they depend on the employee's age. So this is far beyond what I can cover in this short video, but we will include a link to some resources in the show notes that provide additional information on box 11. Next up on our tour is box 12. The IRS has specifically identified certain types of income that you are required to report in box 12. In the context of equity compensation, what you are most often reporting in box 12 are non-qualified stock option exercises. Most other equity plan transactions do not get reported in box 12. But that brings us to box 14. Box 14 is for other income. There's no income that you are specifically required to report in box 14 for equity plan transactions, but you can pretty much report anything you want to in this box. And it is really helpful for employees to know that the income that you've reported in box 1 includes income from their equity plan transactions. Box 14 is a great place right on the face of Form W-2 to make that clear to employees. So I really recommend that any income that you report in box 1 for employees' equity plan transactions, you also report in box 14. Last stop on our tour are boxes 15 through 20. These are your state and local boxes. If employees live in a state or city or county that has income tax, you may need to report their equity plan transactions in these boxes as well. And that concludes our tour of Form W-2. You probably have some additional questions though, and guess what? We've got lots more answers. We will include links to some additional resources on Form W-2 reporting for equity awards in our show notes. I hope you enjoyed our video today. If you did, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you're notified when we post new videos, and it really helps us out too. Win-win. Thanks for watching.